This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast and the Becker Business Minute Podcast. Here are 5 of the stories that we're following this morning, and it's going to be no different than what you're hearing in a lot of places. 5 quick stories. First, the big story is bank failures today. Silicon Valley Bank, once the darling of banking on the ropes, has basically failed, and we'll talk about that more in a little bit. We're going to have a separate podcast with 7 different storylines coming out of the Silicon Valley Bank story, which we'll share with you shortly. But the big story today is Silicon Valley Bank failing and probably several other regional banks on the cusp of failing as well. Second, Treasury yields are dropping a huge amount overnight and this morning as investors move to safety. You've got a serious flight to safety. We'll talk about that again in our Silicon Valley Bank separate episode. The 1-year Treasury yield has dropped almost 90 basis points overnight. So you thought you were going to get 5.2% investing in 1 year. Now you're back to 4.3 or 4%. That went down in a hurry. Third, year-to-date markets have given up almost all of their gains. The NASDAQ, as of this morning, was still 7.24% year-to-date. The S&P is near even, and the Dow is now down 3.7% year-to-date. Fourth, the markets today have been all over the board as people try and understand what's going to happen with the world and quantitative tightening, quantitative easing. One thing the markets are responding to is if they see that the world's going to be okay, they also believe that the Fed will stop raising rates for the time being while they try and figure this out. And that's leading the markets to get some stability to them. Finally, fifth, Bitcoin, which is just incredible. People sort of view this as maybe a safe haven away from some of the stuff, has risen about 10% since Friday. It reminds people of sort of during the COVID situation where all of a sudden you saw the Bitcoin become very popular as people saw maybe major currencies of countries would be surviving and thriving, and Bitcoin would be an answer to an international currency. Again, Bitcoin rising since Friday about 10%, back up to about 22,000. Those are 5 quick stories we're following this morning. Thank you for listening.